Hi, my name is Julia Rickert, and today for my process analysis speech, I will be making an upgraded version of boxed brownies. So I've done my love of cooking and baking from my mom and my grandma, who I've watched my whole life kind of put their own little spin on recipes, and I definitely inherited that instinct of being able to change up recipes based on places I've seen everywhere else. So this box brownie recipe comes from a mixture of the internet, Pinterest, Bon Appetit, which is one of my favorite cooking sources, and my mom. So it definitely is a great way to trick your friends into thinking you made these beautiful homemade brownies, even if you're not that good of a cook. So this is a fan favorite from all my friends. I've been told this is the best thing I make, so I'm going to bring these to my friend's house tonight for her birthday. So step one, I'm using this brownie pan. I really like this one because it makes all of them corner pieces, and that's definitely the best part. But this one, because it's a dark pan and it's kind of all individual, you do have to cook it at a lower temperature. So I already preheated my oven to 300 degrees. The box I'm using today is the Ghirardelli Triple Chocolate. These are by far the best box brownies you'll ever find. The little chocolate chunks in it make it so it's all melty. So good. So it calls for 325, but I'm going to lower it for this pan. So now I'm going to take my pan and just spray. I like to spray over the sink so then it doesn't get all over the floor. So that's all sprayed. And now the recipe calls for 1/3 of a cup of oil, 1/4 cup of water, and 1 egg. And we're going to change that. So I'm still going to do the 1 egg. I have my big bowl right here. So the 1 egg is going to go right into there. And then I'll throw that out. Instead of using the 1/4 cup of water, this is coffee. Just regular coffee that I just brewed, left over from what my family was drinking for breakfast. And then make sure it's cooled before you put it in, because if it's too hot, it can scramble up the eggs actually and cook them. And scrambled eggs and brownies you don't want. So I'm just pouring this all in together. And then instead of using the oil, this is browned butter. So it sounds super fancy. And all it is I took the 1/3 of a cup of oil that I was supposed to use, and I took 1/3 of a cup of unsalted butter. Put it into a pan on like medium-high heat, and just stirred it constantly until it turned that brown consistency. And what that does is it makes it kind of caramely, almost like a nutty smell. So it'll really elevate those brownies, and definitely you sound really professional if you know what brown butter is, even though it's super easy to make. So that's going to go in there. Alright, let me get my spatula and get that last little bit out. Okay, so that's all for my liquid ingredients. And now I just have a little spatula in the bowl, and I like to whisk those all together first, just to make sure everything's all smoothed out before you add the actual brownie mixture into it. So this is all whisked together, all smooth. There's no more bits of the egg. So now I'm going to take, in here I just have that brownie mixture, whatever the packet was, all that was in there. You can see all the little chocolate chunks that make it super good, and I'm just going to dump that whole thing into this bowl. So, break up all the little chunks and mix that together. And this, I want to make sure it gets all smooth. Really whisk that, push down. I'm pushing down on the sides as I go, to make sure that you don't get any of those little pockets that still have all that powder in it. And really going around, I'm just kind of spinning the bowl as I'm moving. And then normally I wouldn't have everything in those little bowls. I just think it makes it easier to have everything measured out. Alright, you can also add a tablespoon or a teaspoon of vanilla into this. That makes it really good. I actually made cookies earlier this week though, so I don't have any, but that adds another extra little bit. Alright, so now we have this all mixed together. As you can see, there's no more powder. And into my sprayed pan, I'm going to fill this up 2/3 of the way, each little thing. You can also use, I like using a 9, if I'm not using this pan, a 9x9 glass pan. I think it makes the thicker the brownies, the better. So I'm just scooping about 2/3 into each of these little pans. Try to get them as even as possible because then they cook evener, more even. The last thing you want is for one brownie to be burnt and the other to be not cooked at all. Alright, so I just smoothed all of them out so they're pretty much even. And now what you have to make sure that you do, this goes for any pan, is wipe those little corners and all of the little brownie bits that got on those middle sections because they'll burn and then that just gets gross. So I'm wiping all of these down and I just tasted a little bit. You can already tell that it has more of a balanced flavor. Sometimes I think box brownies can be way too sugary. And the coffee and the brown butter kind of take that down a little bit, make it a little more complex, a little more adult, if you will. Alright, so let's see. I have that all wiped down. And now, my last little change up that I do is I just have some coarse kosher salt here, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on top of each. And I know people think that's going to make it really salty. It really doesn't. It just kind of, again, balances out a little bit of that super, super sweet sugary taste that brownies can have. Alright, so I'm just going to finish sprinkling all of these. And then again with this pan, the box calls for 35 minutes. I check it after 20 just to make sure that I'm not going to brown them, burn them, because they are the individuals and it cooks on all sides. They do cook a little quicker. So I'm going to put these in the oven for about 20 minutes and then I'll check back in 20 minutes. Alright, so the 20 minutes is just about up, and this is going to be the first time I open the oven, because the more you open it, heat goes out, and then it messes it all up. So I did turn on the light, and it looks like they still are going to need a little bit, but I'm going to check by using these toothpicks. So they make fancy cake testers. All you really need is a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, then that means that it's all done, and if not, it needs a little more time. So we're just going to open this up and check. Still see me, I'm bending into the oven. Alright, so that is still covered in brownie batter, so the middle is not cooked. So I'm going to add an extra 10 minutes onto this. So I just took these out of the oven. They look like this. And they're going to have to cool before I take them out. I'll probably put them in the fridge. Let them sit there for about 15 minutes. They don't need to be fully chilled, just cool enough so they don't break apart. They are still a little gooey on the inside, but the toothpick did come out clean because they do keep cooking once you take them out because they're so hot. That's why I like to put them in the fridge. You can tell the edges are all nice and crispy, just the way I like them. You can even add a little whipped cream on top of these, some powdered sugar to make them look really pretty. And that is my elevated brownie recipe. So, pretty much, it's super easy to make these elevated boxed brownies. You don't need to be doing this totally from scratch. Just take a regular old box brownie and then some ingredients you have lying around the house like butter and coffee, and it's super easy to be able to trick your friends into thinking you're a top-notch baker when maybe you really aren't. This is a recipe that I've definitely come up with over time and it has been tweaked, but it's always a fan favorite. And it's super easy to do. So I hope you guys can try it at home. Are there any questions or comments? Thank you.